Well, what is happening, Marvel fans? Welcome back to the channel. I am Dial, and this is another edition of my podcast. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. If you guys are new, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you guys for helping me reach 410 subscribers. Wouldn't have done it without you guys. Oh my goodness. I appreciate all of you tuning in and listening to my crazy takes on movies and such. But anyway,
Most of them incorrect.
You know what?
Just kidding.
All right, already started, huh? Okay. But anyway, we are getting back into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm playing catch up before Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming out. I have a bunch of movies and or shows I haven't talked about yet, so trying to get them out as fast as we can. But today we are going to be talking about Eternals. And joining with me today, I have fellow YouTuber Ruby Groovy.
Bro, why are you making me do this? Are we really doing this?
Yes, because no one else will.
People already saw the ranking video on my channel. We don't need to go over this again, do we?
Yes.
We could just skip this one, right?
Unfortunately, no. We must get into this in very excruciating detail. But yeah, so before we begin, I want to let you guys know we're going to do something possibly do something special for you guys. We're doing another 2-for-1 special. So on my channel, this is going to be an audio review for Eternals, as it is always for most of my podcasts. But if you tune into Ruby Groovy's channel, you'll get to see us on camera. So you get a 2-for-1 special. If you want audio only, you can tune in on my channel. And then if you want to see us on camera, check out Ruby Groovy's channel. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel so you can watch his stuff. But also subscribe to Ruby Groovy. He does gaming as well.
I'm about like 5 as of this stream. I'm about like 5 subs away from that sweet triple digits. It's creeping up on me. I'm really excited about it.
Right. So yeah, check out stuff. I saw you did the new Kirby game recently, and Lego
really
Star
good.
Wars.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Yes.
You think I'm gonna forget about that junk?
Of course not. What are we, Star Wars fans? Of course.
No, we Star Trek.
Star.
Just kidding.
Live long and prosper. All right. So, as always, spoilers. I'm sure we don't have to, explain that. If you have not seen Eternals by now, it's on Disney Plus in beautiful IMAX format. So please watch that and come back here if you don't want anything spoiled. But yeah,
either way, you're not missing much. But I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll get into this right now. Okay.
Man, I just can't stop it. I'm just on a roll today. If this keeps up, that's not my fault.
Well, all right. So, Eternals. So as far as the comics, this is another property that I know very little about. I know their importance to the Marvel universe. They're kind of, me being a DC fan, I know they're kind of like the new gods of Marvel. Like, they're very similar with their designs and like the development of their world and stuff like that. They're even made by the same creator, Jack Kirby. They're made by the same person, Jack Kirby. Like, it's literally the same. They do very similar. So, but yeah. But as far as the development, I know very little about it. I actually had to do some research before going into this podcast. But yeah, I had low expectations as always. Similar with Shang-Chi, because I didn't know much about Shang-Chi either. But I ended up really enjoying Shang-Chi. So I'm thinking maybe this could be the same thing. Marvel does a really good job introducing new Marvel characters that are like C-level, D-level characters, with the exception of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel still sucks, but
Truth.
So as far as the director, they got a very big director nowadays. They got Chloe Zao, who was it 2 years ago? She won Best Picture for Nomadland.
Yeah, I think that was in 2020. That was a 2020 film. Yeah.
2020, yes. So so it's interesting that they were able to get Chloe Zhao to be in the MCU, And yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on. That's weird. It says in the USA the film was released on February 19th of 2021.
Oh,
Maybe it was released in a different country at that point in the 2020.
probably. But yeah, it's nuts if they got Chloe Zhao just coming off of winning Oscar and stuff like that, so her momentum was going. I have not seen Nomadland. I haven't seen any other stuff that she's done before this, so pretty much going into this fresh. I love to support me some female directors, because I feel like they don't get as much attention. So good on her. And then the cast that they got for this was huge. There's a lot of people in this movie. I think the two that really stuck out to me that I'm surprised they got them in this film is Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie. I'm like, you got them in a Marvel film? I'm like, oh, cool, man. that's crazy. But yeah, the other actors, most of them I don't know about. Let me pull up the cast real quick.
Gemma Chan was the girl who played SERSI. Actually, played as a different character in a different Marvel movie.
Oh, really? Where?
In Captain Marvel, she was Dr. Minerva.
Oh.
But nobody remembers Dr. Minerva because nobody remembers Captain Marvel. So you know what? It's fine.
Yeah, I was almost like, I need to go rewatch it, but no, I don't want to. But I'll just pull up a clip on YouTube and see. Oh, there she was. So she did the Michelle Yeoh thing because Michelle Yeoh was in Guardians Volume 2, and then she appeared in Shang-Chi. So
yeah, that's right.
So yeah, interesting. Oh yeah, Kumail Nanjiani. I'm sure I said his name wrong. I've seen him in stuff before, like lower like sitcoms and comedies and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's pretty big in like the comedy scene for all I remember. He was in Central Intelligence. He was in Doolittle.
Oh God.
Rip. He was in The Big Sick. Yeah, he's been in some pretty Men in Black International, great film.
Gosh.
But no, he's been in a lot of stuff that I actually didn't really know that he was in it.
Right. But yeah, so the cast looked really, really good. The trailers looked pretty solid. It from a direction standpoint, cinematography standpoint, it did look different from what we usually get from Marvel. It's a little bit more earnest. Like the saturation is not as like high. It's like a little more muted with colors. It seemed a little bit more serious. It seemed like it was going to be like this like Greek mythology inspired film type thing, showing the beginnings of the universe and how these characters came into play in the beginnings of the world. So that's an interesting story we have not seen in Marvel before. And plus we're getting more development on the Celestials, which they've been everywhere in the MCU, especially if like with the Guardians and Thor and stuff like that. So they've been already been talked about in the MCU. So gonna get more development with them. So I was interested in that. But yeah, man. So this all led for this to be like a really good movie. And I heard Kevin Feige going into this film, they thought this was possibly going to be the most ambitious and maybe the best Marvel film they've ever made. So this movie came out, and that was not the case.
Boy!
If we're looking at the ratings for this film, right now it has a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb. And a whopping 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the lowest rating of the MCU as far as films. We're not talking about the shows. Like, we know Inhumans and Iron Fist is lower. But, like, as far as the films, this is the lowest of them all. And this is the only one that got a rotten score. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's the only one that has a rotten score, and it's the lowest IMDb rated film of all the MCU films.
Yeah. And from what I hear from the people that reviewed it, it is so split down the middle. There are people that really like this movie and think it's very ambitious, it's very different for the MCU, it's an interesting direction. And then there's other people that was like, this was such a misstep. Stuff didn't make sense. It felt weird. It was too long. Like, people are so split on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so all that to say, how did I feel about it? How did DL feel about Eternals? Because I'm normally the contrarian when it comes to the MCU. Stuff that people like, I ended up not liking, or stuff that I enjoy, people don't like. How did I like it? Well, I'll say this: the first time I watched it in the theater, I really enjoyed it. I was one of those people that was like, you know what? This does feel different. This is a very unique take in the MCU that we haven't seen before. I liked how serious and earnest it was. I liked the crazy concept with the cosmic part of the MCU, the stuff with the Celestials. Like, I thought all that was really interesting. And it wasn't afraid to be in your face as far as like the concept that they were throwing at you. So on that aspect, like, that's why I really enjoyed it the first time I watched it. However, I only saw it once in the theater, which was in the theater. I had to go back and rewatch this for this review. Like, literally, I'm coming off of watching it, like, literally a couple hours before going into this podcast. Second time watching it, my opinion has changed. There's a lot of things that came up that I did not notice before. There's I had to take notes again for this because stuff just kept coming up. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Wait, that didn't. Wait, how's that? That happened. Wait, no, wait, how did? Okay, all right. So I know I'm blabbing a lot. So right now I'm like, Eternals is okay. It's okay. I don't hate it. I can't say it's a good movie though. There's just so much that doesn't make sense in this movie.
All right.
I still appreciate the ambition of this film. So that's why I can't fully say that I hate it, or it's like, I wouldn't mind watching this again. Like, what really saves it for me is that at least most of the characters, I personally can get behind. And I thought the whole stuff with the Celestials, and the development with their mythology, and how the Eternals were created and how they play a part on Earth and the rest of the universe, I thought was interesting. The problem is the script. The script is bad. So it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, I'm in the middle on it. I don't think it's horrible, but I don't think it's good. Chloe Zao, you swung, and you kind of missed a little bit, but I appreciate the intention. That's how I feel about Eternals. Ruby, let's turn it to you. What did you think about this movie?
Yeah, honestly, like, as hard as I was on my ranking video on my YouTube channel about like a month ago, I can agree that this is the most like ambitious of the MCU films, and they really wanted to take like risks in like going in a different direction in terms of anything that's not multiverse stuff. They want to keep up more with like the supernatural elements and like the cosmic world and all that. So you introduce all these new characters that may be thrown into this multiverse timeline at some point. I don't know. We'll have to wait until Eternals 2 because that's eventually going to happen. But I mean, I still have only seen the movie once in the theaters, and I haven't revisited it. I haven't revisited it ever since. I do plan on seeing it after this podcast, though, because I was planning on seeing it over the weekend. It's just I wasn't feeling all that well for whatever reason. But so I'm only going off of my knowledge from when I've seen it in the movies, in the theaters once. And the one time that I saw it in the theaters, I love the cinematography. and I love the aesthetic and the look of this movie. You know, visually, I want to marry the cinematographer. Whoever was the cinematographer for this film, I'm pretty sure they did Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it was Greg Fraser for Rogue One.
Oh, Greg Fraser.
Greg Fraser did. Sorry, I'm going off track a little bit, but he did. He did Batman. That looked really good. But no,
Batman '89.
No, Batman 2022.
2022. Okay, because you got to be specific because there's
Yeah,
what we call
I know.
Batman and there's what we call the Batman. It's like
Yeah, Robert Pattinson, the Pattinson.
The Pattinson. Okay, cool.
But yeah, whoever the cinematographer for Eternals definitely needs like a pay rate and a half, because like this movie, that's like one of the only great things that I can give to this movie, other than its ambition, is that like everything looks good and everything looks like naturally like well lit. It doesn't look like you said, it doesn't look overly saturated. It doesn't look like very popish. But it's still pleasing to the eye. It doesn't make you feel like you're getting a headache after watching it. Now the casting I can get behind. You know, like the Game of Thrones casting, the Kit Harington. I'm good with him being MCU. Angelina Jolie. I mean, she was bound to be in the MCU at some point. I mean, let's be real here. It was bound to happen. And even some new faces in the MCU, like Lauren Ridloff, who did MAKKARI. She was a big standout in this film, and she didn't even need to say anything.
Oh yeah, she's deaf. Right?
Yeah, she's the deaf one, the deaf Flash character. Yeah, she was really good. I loved her. And then who played? I just need to keep up my Eternals page up. But who played Gilgamesh? I really liked him as well.
Let's see,
Don Lee.
Yeah,
he was really good, and I liked his chemistry with Angelina Jolie. I think their two characters, along with MAKKARI and PHASTOS, were probably like the big standouts for me. As like, you know, yeah, this movie could be like pretty good. Mm-hmm. Everything else about it, though, just felt like everything else, it just threw like completely out of the window for me, because like the romance between IKARIS and SERSI felt completely forced. Like, let's not try to dance around the topic. It felt forced, and it was forced. Salma Hayek's character, AJAK, I can't. I don't understand her motivation. I just don't understand the writing for this character. And Sprite is a character.
Oh God, Sprite.
Sprite is a character.
Is she a character? Is she?
Like, the more I watch, like, all these, like, the more bad characters I watch, I'm like, oh no.
I think we might have a debate to decide who's the worst Eternal of this group. We might have a debate, but
Sprite. Sprite is the worst.
She's in the running, definitely.
She's like the biggest nominee if she's not.
Yeah.
She's like the runner-up.
Yeah, it's like, God.
But I also might be in the minority, because I still don't like DRUIG or KINGO in this film. I feel like, you know, at least KINGO's like charisma exists in this film, but I just can't get behind why he just decided, you know, I'm just gonna pass on this final battle. I gotta take my director home. You know, he can't just take the bus.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like what?
You have powers that could literally end this final battle in 5 minutes.
Pew 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 pew.
And I still don't understand DRUIG's reasoning to hate everyone. Like, I understand that like they should be doing more with their powers, but like, does he need to feel lonely for that?
We'll get into that.
Like, is that what leads him to being lonely? Is that like, you know, there's so many flaws within this character, which like I want to like him, but like he doesn't do well, and neither does the actor. I don't like this actor, by the way.
Oh, you don't?
I don't like how he portrays his character, I just don't think he fits well in this film. And the fact that he's playing Joker, from what I hear from a rumor in the Batman, makes me cringe.
Oh, it's not a rumor. He is, because there's a deleted scene of him.
Yeah, that makes me cringe, because he was at the end of the film Batman, and it was like one of the bad things about that film, because that's not Joker. It may be a darker side of Joker, but it's like,
yeah,
that's not enough Joker for me to say that that's Joker.
I mean, to be fair, Matt Reeves did say that he's not like actually Joker yet. This is pre-Joker.
Oh, they're doing a freaking Gotham thing then, aren't they?
It feels like it, and people are in denial, and it's like they're taking influence from the New 52 with his face being cut off and stuff like that, because he looks horrible.
Crap.
Like, he looks horrible. Like,
he does.
I don't understand it. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because like when I saw that deleted scene of him that came out recently, I'm like, no, I can't. Anyway, back to Eternals.
But yeah, back to Eternals. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of like half of the Eternals cast. I just think that they just either they didn't get enough time or they got too much time, which is also a bad thing, because when you give a character too much time to try and develop and try to say who they are in a film, you get annoyed by them. You know, you have 10 other characters. You have 10 characters that we need to go through, and you're so hyper-focused on one or two characters throughout the entire movie that it just makes all of the other Eternals just non-existent.
Dude, this has the X-Men problem of, like, there's so many interesting characters in the X-Men pantheon.
Besides Wolverine.
Yes, the movies treat Wolverine like he's the only interesting character in those movies. And Eternals is 2 hours and 36 minutes. There is no excuse for them not to develop most of all those characters.
Exactly. Like, you have all this time developing all of these other characters, but then, like, you spend, like, an hour and a half of it on two lovers that try to figure out if they love each other.
Oh, Icarus.
It just bothers me. Like, I don't want to keep watching these two try to fall in love for 2 hours. Only to have one of them turn their back on the other.
Yeah.
Also, did we forget that Bill Skarsgård makes an appearance in this film?
Oh, yeah. Didn't he play one of the deviants?
Who?
Yeah, right? The deviants.
Who?
They're a thing.
Like, that's another problem. Like, that's another issue that I have with, like, spending too much time with these other characters. You have Bill Skarsgård in your cast, and you give him, like, 3 minutes of screen time in a 2 hour and 37-minute film. Not to mention that you give Harry Styles the exact same time run as Bill Skarsgård. Not really, but, like, I'm speaking, like, hypothetically. That's what it feels like. Also, Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Yeah, we'll get to that. Harry Styles.
I just want to bash the skullet of whoever thought this was a good idea.
But hey, like, reserve your thoughts. Maybe
I know.
They did it for a reason. But anyway.
So overall, this film had the potential to be like, you know, it is ambitious, and it takes the MCU in a different direction that we haven't seen before. But ambitious film does not great film make. At the end of the day, that's really all I have to say about it. It's not a good movie to me, if I'm being honest. Though it does have some good qualities, like the cinematography. Like, you can't bash on that. But, like, everything else about it is just, like, you could just gloss over pretty much everything else about it, if I'm being honest.
I like that. Ambition does not good film make.
Yeah, ambitious film does not good film make. Then again, I like The Last Jedi, so.
And I like The Rise of Skywalker, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's get into this film. All right, well. Jeez, where do I start? I mean,
where do you start with
this? Well, I thought the beginning started okay.
I felt like I was in Star Wars when I saw the opening, if I'm being honest.
The opening text, where it's like, you know, yeah, they gave a brief synopsis of what the Celestials are and what the Eternals do, and okay, that's cool. Um, and then it starts off with, well, okay, so I'll say with that, when I was doing a little bit more research on the Eternals from the comics, that text um was not accurate to what the Eternals were from the comics. Um, but as I said, I had to take that mindset out the door, because the MCU does their own take on the characters of the MCU. They're not going to be 100% accurate, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I noticed, like, when I saw it with Kree, who knows a lot about the Eternals, when she saw that text come up, she got worried, because she was like, "Wait, that's not accurate at all." So I was like, "Oh, okay." But at least, like, as far as an intro for Marvel, that's ominous, right? Like, we haven't seen that before. Opening text, you just start out black and the text comes up. So I'm like, okay, that's really interesting. So then it starts off with the Eternals coming to Earth, and pretty much I think they're like in like BC and stuff like that. Like the beginnings of Earth, like cavemen, I guess. So Arishem, yeah, that's the name of the
Yeah.
right. So they send the Eternals from what we thought, what they say they're from Olympia. So they send them to Earth to defend humanity from these creatures called the Deviants. And when they defeat the Deviants, they're not supposed to interfere with any human conflict on Earth. That's their rule. They can't interfere with any conflicts that the humans create. And that's red flag number one. First of all, we'll get to that. That's the plot hole we'll get into. But as far as the beginning of them establishing how the Eternals are, I thought, okay, that's pretty cool. You got a good like showing of all their abilities and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. If the whole movie was like this, we might get a really solid film. And there's my issue. The whole conflict with them in present day is a problem. Is a really big problem.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to, it doesn't just come to this film. It's like from the previous movies and shows, they keep establishing different higher beings that watches over reality and different worlds and universe, stuff like that. And they're never consistent. Let me go down the list of higher power beings they established in the MCU that are quote unquote supposed to run or watch over different multiverses and realities, right? You have the TVA, you have the Watchers, you have the Celestials, you have, pretty soon in Multiverse of Madness, we have the Illuminati, we have Odin, we have
the ancient one.
The ancient one. Yes.
I'm only thinking like Doctor Strange, and I'm like, no, that's not right. It's the ancient one.
Whoever's the Sorcerer Supreme, but yes, ancient one. Yes. Oh yeah, we forgot Kang the Conqueror, and Loki.
Yeah.
All of these higher beings are supposed to be watching over the timelines of the multiverses, and none of their rules are consistent. And we go to the celestial stuff, and it doesn't make sense. The first red flag for this movie. I'm gonna try and bring up positives, but it's gonna be hard because there's a lot of other things that happen. Normally I start with, let me talk about the positives of this movie, but no, we have to get to these. We have to get to the gripes. So, SERSI. We'll talk about SERSI more in detail in a second. But SERSI talking to Dane, and Dane asks SERSI, "Why haven't you guys interfered when Thanos was snapping away half the universe?" She says, and I quote, "We are instructed not to interfere in any human conflicts unless the deviants are involved. If we saved humanity from everything, they would not be able to develop on their own."
So you can't be involved with anything that isn't deviants.
Right. Even though you coming to the planet is interfering.
You're coming to the planet at all.
Is interfering. And then you said so you're claiming that Thanos is a human conflict. No, he's not.
No.
No, he's not. He's not a human conflict. He is a universe conflict. He is using the Infinity Stones, multiversal objects, to snap away half of existence in the universe. And you're claiming that that conflict is not good enough for you guys to interfere. No. No,
it's just a rock collection. That's probably what they would have said.
Oh, just a rock collection. What? No.
Man, I would have been so mad.
No. So already off the jump, I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. Man, and this is what I was worried about. Because, like, you know, with Phase 4, they're still trying to introduce these C-level, D-level characters that in the comics, they play a bigger role. And they're still trying to clunkily incorporate them into an MCU that already established stuff to a T. And now you're forcing stuff in this timeline that's not making things make sense. So, like, and as far as the Eternals themselves, as warriors, as beings, yeah, most of their abilities are cool, but it's like, I have a hard time believing that these are the only beings that are able to defeat the Deviants. And let's talk about the Deviants for a second. Because are they really that big of a threat to Earth?
Or to anyone?
Right, these what are these things? Like these seaweed looking creature dog things? Like what do they do?
That apparently gain the powers of the Eternals that they kill.
Okay. Great. All right. That's interesting. All right. So it's like, if they're establishing that these demons are such a threat to humanity, fine. But they don't do a good job showing that. These deviants are just so bland. And it's like, they're not even that interesting. They're not even that powerful. I almost forget they're in the film for a good quarter of the movie. Because there's like a good portion where they're not in it. Like, they're not the main issue right now. So it's like, and then they come out of nowhere. And then they randomly, when they do absorb the energy of the Eternals, they turn more humanoid and they have more thoughts and feelings. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what? Huh?
Why? Like, do you infuse like the entire person, or do you just infuse the powers?
Both. Whatever's convenient.
Why? Why would you want that?
I don't know. I mean, okay, they allude that
because like now you have a reason to like not do the things that you're doing.
Right. But
you kill one Eternal, now you're gonna feel bad about it.
Right. So they established that Arishem sent them to be the defenders of Earth first, but then they got corrupted and they turned into creatures. So it's like, okay, there could have been an interesting thing of where it's like they used to have a mind of their own, but then they turned corrupt, you know. So it's like they even could have gave the deviants more development, like they were actual people, or maybe not people, but it's like, you know, like life forms, you know, that actually
like actual like beings that like actually cared about the existence.
Exactly. And it's like there could have been a conflict with that, you know, and establishing that, you know, Arishem, his motives aren't fully for the, you know, have the best intentions, which is what they tried to do in this movie. But it's like they're just treated as monsters. That's all they are. They're putties from Power Rangers. That's what they are. So it's like that was a waste. Like, and then okay, so the whole thing with okay, so the main conflict of this movie is that Arishem actually sent these Eternals. Pretty much, they're like the Silver Surfers to Galactus. They're pretty much getting rid of the deviants, so they'll be able to have the planet ready, so that Orishim can have another celestial be created out of that planet. So pretty much blow up the planet, and a gold celestial will be created from that, right? Okay. First of all, and they want us to be convinced that the Eternals are powerful enough to stop not only a celestial being created from the planet, but possibly stop Orishim if he retaliates against them.
Not only that, but stopping the other Eternals as well. As well as the Celestials.
No!
Because
no.
one person was able to do it.
Right, but what? No! No! You're already causing a problem because, like.
See, this is where you play the J. Jonah Jameson clip. You serious?
You serious? I'll write that down as well. I'll get that dropped. But yeah, like, there's already a problem because, like, you're putting the Eternals in a lose-lose situation because the Celestials are one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe. They created you. Oh, it also turns out that they don't come from the planet of Olympia. Olympia was a lie. That was a whole like deception, because apparently Orishim has created a whole bunch of clones of the Eternals over the centuries and used them to do the same mission that they sent them to do. And that just raised a whole lot of other questions. What did the other Eternals from the past lives do on the other planets? Did they not retaliate? Because the reason that Orishim created the Eternals is because the Deviants didn't work very well. So they wanted to create Eternals that like had a little bit more of a soul, that had a little bit more of a mind of their, like more like a humanoids beings, I guess, to not make them as savage as the Deviants, so that problem wouldn't happen again, right? So you didn't take into account that they would like possibly think that, okay, maybe this is not really a good idea what they're doing, that they would grow attachments to the humans. You didn't take that into account because you sent them to watch over humanity and see how they evolve, right? And you're expecting them not to grow attachment to humans at all. Even though they're humanoids, they have emotions. And what?
And they were sent down as humans.
Right. And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that, Orishim? Why would you do that? Why don't you just send robots or like android alien things? I don't know.
Oh, because we already tried that and it didn't work. I'm just saying.
I guess. I'm just like... Can't Orishim destroy the Deviants himself?
Nah, he's too busy with all this other crap.
That's another question. He's such a powerful being. Should he be able to get rid of the Deviants himself? He created them. And you're telling me you can't take 5 seconds to destroy them? You need to send Eternals to do that. No.
If anything, it sounds like Orishim has like the same powers as Thanos, except like he could like snap his fingers without even needing stones.
Idiot.
He could do things with like the twist of his head without even needing like any other assistance, but then just does nothing.
Nothing. And then you can't give the excuse of I'm like a watcher. I can't interfere. No. Can't use that because you already interfered. You sent these Eternals to Earth.
I was gonna say, yeah, nope. You sent these individuals down to Earth. Your will.
Getting all that out of the way, like this, I think this story could have worked a lot better if this was just a period piece. If we just saw the Eternals in BC, like all the flashbacks that they showed in the film, that was some of the best parts of the movie. Actually seeing them fight the deviants, them actually like helping to, develop some of humanity, even though they're not supposed to do that, but they do anyway. That stuff, like, I at least thought was interesting. And by doing this, you don't run into the problem of the present day stuff, where you're trying to connect things to the current Marvel stuff that's already established. Like, they don't have to address the Thanos stuff or the other super threats that happened, post Iron Man. If they were just like back in BC, where there are no superheroes, there are no supervillains established there yet, they could have their own story, and and it's like things won't be as convoluted. I wish the whole movie was focused in BC. And then it's like, I really wish that the stuff with Orisham creating the Eternals, like, that just raised more questions as well. I just wish that they actually came from Olympia. They actually had a planet, and the Celestials sent them specifically on a mission. I think that would have helped to make things not as convoluted either, because then revealing that Olympia was a lie, and then they just created these clones throughout the centuries, and all the other clones had no problem with them terraforming the Earth and making more Celestials, but this planet specifically had a problem. And you can't give me the excuse of, oh, the other planets aren't as evolved as humanity, so it's like they didn't run into these problems before. No, you can't say that, because they establish in the other movies that there are other planets that have evolved life and civilizations, and they didn't
that have been terrorized.
That have been terrorized, and they didn't run into the same problem then. But now you're saying that Earth is so special. There's something special about this planet, that they're having an issue with it now. So no.
It's called Twitter.
Twitter, yeah. Wokeness. We're dealing with that all day. But
the new land of Elon Musk.
Right. And it's like, I was interested in them actually seeing Olympia on the big screen, because like me doing research on the Eternals, like Olympia was like this really cool like planet and stuff like that. It would have been interesting to see where the Eternals came from on that aspect. It would have felt more natural, and we could have got better development for the Eternals. But no, it didn't end up happening. And speaking of that, let us get into the Eternals. We're going to go character by character. So let's start with SERSI.
This bitch.
This bitch? What you mean? What you mean? What you mean? Go ahead and start.
What is so interesting about this character, other than like, she cares about others? Like, yeah, that was like the whole point of her like being like the next in line. But like, why was she not selected in the first place? Like, what else about her makes her so like?
I mean,
I don't get it. What does she do? What are her powers, first of all? Because I forgot what she does.
Oh, she's able to manipulate matter. So she can turn stuff into dust. She could turn things into water and ice, and there was one time she turned something into butterflies. So she's able to she manipulates matter. That's what she does.
AJAK saw SERSI and said, "You don't fight? All right, you're the next in line. You're the next leader." Like,
okay, so
the whole point is that the Eternals are warriors.
Yeah, warriors.
And two of them don't do anything.
Well, okay, granted. Okay, so this is why I feel like they should have. When I said that this should have been more like a Greek mythology type of story, like. These are stuff that, I would see the powers from gods, like, the goddess of war or the goddess of all this other stuff. Like, some powers are better than others. So it's like, I almost took it on that aspect. So it's like, and let me say this, like, the matter manipulation is not a bad power. It's not. It's just the way that they chose to show off her powers kind of sucked.
Yeah, the way that they executed it, it's just like that. It just seems like her matter manipulation stuff just like does not. It just doesn't seem impactful.
Right. Yeah.
And
yeah.
also, like, matter manipulation is what stops a celestial from consuming a planet.
It turns the celestial into ice. To a
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You go ahead with that.
Sure.
Okay.
So I'll say
Let's
this:
cheat our way to winning a final battle.
I mean, yeah, I'll say the final battle was kind of bullshit, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah. Well, SERSI herself, I liked her. I thought she was nice.
She was charming.
She was charming. I guess she's like the straight woman of this movie. I'll say, like, on the grand scheme of things, she's probably not the best choice to be the leader of the Eternals. But I'll be real with you, I wouldn't give it to any of the other Eternals,
because all the other Eternals suck.
Yeah, or they're just not fit to be leaders. Because, like, there's a handful of them that we really liked, but we don't see them as, like, leaders. But yeah, the other ones suck. So it's like you got to pick the best one out of the bunch, and yeah, SERSI, I guess, could be the leader. I guess.
Before anybody starts saying that Kingo could have been the leader, he can't even run his own damn show.
Okay, wait a minute. Who thinks that Kingo?
I don't know. There's gonna be some person out there saying, Kingo would have been a great leader. No, the hell.
I would love somebody. No. If somebody believes that, please comment down below. Why do you think Kingo would have been a great choice to be the leader? If somebody actually thinks that, I want to know why.
They're gonna say because he's funny.
But anyway, back to SERSI. The problem with SERSI is, as you said, she's just so reluctant to do anything in this movie. She's so timid. She's so scared. And it's okay to be reluctant at first, but like there was never a moment in the movie where it's like she took charge of everything, or it's like, she had a brave moment, she acted everything out like she was scared of everything, so it's like she'll be a leader if she's put in a corner. That's what it feels like with her character. So it's like, and there could have been something really interesting with her, of her developing or trying to learn how to be a leader. That could have been a really cool dynamic they could have gave to her. But like, she's just acted timid the whole time. And it's like, I don't blame the actress. I think the actress did the best of what she was given. And I still think she's likable and charming. But yeah, I just not the best leader, not the best.
Yeah, she's like, the actress makes the character believable, and like she can be believable in a movie. It's just the character just cannot.
I mean, I know she's a woman, but show some balls. Come on now, just a little bit.
Stop running.
Stop running. Stop like, but I can't do this. I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. What?
Yeah, neither can anybody else, but they were able to do it, so you can do it too because you're the main character.
Right. Okay. Let's go to AJAK, played by Selma Hayek. I did not expect for Marvel to give Selma this big of a role. I will say that she sold it for the material that she was given. She sold being, the first leader of the Eternals. Like, I didn't feel like she was out of place. But as you said earlier, her motivations does not seem consistent. It doesn't. So once again, we run into the problem that the Eternals have feelings. We have feelings, but you're supposed to be this, this cold leader that's supposed to follow everything that Arishem does. But you grow attachment to the humans. And then you do the irresponsible thing of letting the Eternals go off and have their own lives. No, 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 and no. And then I ask again because there are other versions of AJAK before this one, and they didn't run into this issue before. Why does it happen now? And then her abilities are she's a telepath and she can heal people. Great.
Because we need a mercy from Overwatch on this team.
I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure people that watch that play
Mercy's like one of the characters in Overwatch that can like heal like their teammates.
Okay.
It's like a support character.
Right. So here's another thing. It's not that the abilities suck, because we've seen really cool telepaths and healers before.
Right.
But the way she is using these powers in the movie is very forgettable.
I forget that she heals. Like when she dies, I just forget that she even like heals. And not to mention, like, if she can heal, why can't she heal herself? Is that like the drawback, or?
I mean,
because there's a drawback to every power, right?
I guess.
So would that be her drawback?
I mean, if like, because she was getting mobbed by the deviants. I don't think she would have time to heal herself. You know, when she's like in the process of dying, like she doesn't have enough energy to.
Yeah, but like she could put up like a healing shield or something, right?
No,
that could only like heal herself. I don't know.
Nope, that's not how it works.
Make her like healing powers like badass. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Though I guess then you run into the issue of you make her too powerful. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, then again, Yondu was too powerful, and he still ended up dying.
That is true. That's true.
So it may as well not be that big of an issue anymore. Yeah. Then again, it's a supernatural ability, so like they can do it without like the aid of like anything else in life. So like I guess that could be considered overpowered to some degree.
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah. Did you like Salma Hayek in this role?
I only know Salma Hayek from like all of the other like comedy films or like buddy comedy films. Like the one that I can remember off the top of my head is Hitman's Bodyguard with Ryan Reynolds and Sam Jackson. And when I compare her to that role, like when I compare both of those roles together, I feel like there is someone else that I could see as AJAK, but the bigger problem of AJAK is not the casting, it's the way that she's written. Because like she has these powers and like she has like these things to do, but like where's the motivation? Like why is she doing it? She's not doing it for the Celestials, first of all. So like what's the motivation then? Do you have a crush on SERSI? Like do you want that? I don't get it.
Yeah, and then like here's the problem. It's like I'm gonna go back to Arsham again. You go through this whole thing of making the Eternals believe that they're from this planet and they have their own civilization, but there's other beings like them that have feelings and they can think for themselves. So you already put them in this weird position mentally and emotionally for them to think this way eventually. So it's like if you just flat out told them what they were from the beginning and take out some of the emotion, just a little bit. Just take out some of the emotion so we can avoid that issue. It's just from the beginning had them established like that, you wouldn't be in this whole conflict with them trying to save the Earth, and there's no realistic way for them to save the Earth because then they have to fight the Celestial, which is borderline impossible. So it's like right. I don't understand. Like once again, there could have been an interesting thing with AJAK being like there could have been a whole thing of her days as being the leader of the Eternals is coming to an end because maybe she's getting older or something like that, and she's trying to find a new person to become the leader, and that's where SERSI comes in, and she's trying to develop her to become the new leader, and she's all timid and and being apprehensive, and then she could give her the motivation and the drive to become more confident in herself and take charge. That could
it's like maybe like AJAK sees herself in SERSI or something. She gives like a wise message to SERSI as like a kind of like I don't want to say Force Ghost, but like a Force Ghost type of being, where like she enters Cersei's mind or whatever as like this, like, I guess celestial being, because reasons. The movie already doesn't make sense, so like, what's the point of like adding in something else that doesn't make sense? But like, she could enter like Cersei's mind and be like, I see myself in you, and like you could be like this. I could see you being like this new leader of the Eternals and whatnot. So like, we could have gotten a scene like that where like we could see like that little bit more of like that camaraderie between the Eternals, because that's something else that I don't really feel within the Eternals, is like a one like whole unified camaraderie between teammates.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Why do these people matter, and what makes them all trust each other in the way that they do?
And then I guess it's probably a nitpicking thing. I don't know if it is a nitpicking thing, but it's just like, if AJAK is the leader of the Eternals, I think she should have I think she should be the most powerful of them, don't you think? Now I know the comic people are about to be like, no,
which is why I say, why does she only heal?
She only
like
heals.
I get that that's a powerful power, but like, why is that the only thing you could do if you're the leader?
I mean, she's a telepath as well, but they don't really show
they
it.
Don't
that
show
much.
that.
Like, I don't understand that. Now I'm sure some people that know the comics are the comics are going to be like, you can't change your powers that much. You have to stick to how it was in the source material. Like,
they're already going against the source material just from the opening crawl. What more do you want?
Right.
Like, you're already lost in the first minute of the movie. If you're a comic book fan.
Yeah, man. It's like
you're already saying this is the worst MCU movie after watching that first minute of the movie. I don't want to hear it. Like, this does not follow the comics at all. You should make these characters follow the comics. These people, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna call out some Marvel fans where I was complaining that other movies and stuff weren't like the comics, and everyone's like, oh, please don't worry about that, man. It's a movie. It's gonna be different. You gotta go with it, man. Oh, okay. So the stuff where I was complaining, like Thor Ragnarok was against the comics, Civil War was against the comics, Iron Man 3 was against the comics, and now you pick Eternals to be like, that's not like the comics. It needs to be like the comics. Fuck y'all. Fuck y'all, man.
At the same time, in my defense, because I'm just going to throw it out there because I love Civil War. Civil War is not that great of a comic from what I hear.
Yes, that is true.
So going against that comic specifically is fine.
I'll
to some regard.
Yes.
To like make it more in line with like MCU timeline, because I don't know.
Yeah. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt on that aspect. Yes.
Because the original Civil War comic, from what I hear, because I never read that comic, was not that good.
Okay. Yes.
So to make that specific comic different is fine.
Okay.
That's the intention that I get. If you go against a good comic, that's a bad thing. If you go against a bad comic, that's more so a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Which is why Thor Ragnarok sucked. Ragnarok was actually a good comic, and also did Planet Hulk. They just mixed that in there. I was like, what? No. But anyway, moving on. Let's go to Discount Superman IKARIS.
Oh boy. 3 for 3 on bad characters.
God, man.
Oh boy.
I mean, granted, I do like AJAK and SERSI, but IKARIS, no, I don't like him at all. Now, there's still his
reveal sucked.
What
Sorry,
reveal? What reveal?
I'll shut up.
What?
I'll shut up.
Excuse me? What reveal?
I'll shut up.
But yeah, there's already a bias for me because Superman is my favorite comic character, and he feels a lot like that. He has laser vision, he flies, he has super strength. Like, what is this? What the hell? And it's like, I don't care what it is from the comics. He's a discount Superman. And plus, he is so boring. His delivery is so dry.
He is so
dry.
one-dimensional.
Oh my god. So bland. I don't understand, man. Like, I just and then as she said earlier, they're trying to have us buy into the quote unquote romance between him and SERSI, and I don't buy it at all. It was some of the most flattest romance development I have seen since Attack of the Clones. It is that bad to me.
We're talking about a guy who was in the same movie. He was also in movies like Rocket Man, the live action revamp of Cinderella, in 1917.
I forgot he was in Cinderella in 1917 and Rocket Man. Actually, I forgot he was in any of those movies.
Just wanted to point that out. Like, he's in all of these other movies, and then we look at his delivery in Eternals.
Yeah, there's no excuse. He was good in all those other films, but in this movie, what happened? What is?
Yeah,
what?
What?
Huh?
Hello?
I don't understand. And then okay, so apparently he's the only one that's like, following Arishem's orders. He's dedicated to Arishem and the Celestials, and he ends up being the antagonist of the movie, which that was no surprise to me. They were really trying to hide that. Like, that was no secret whatsoever. Like, come on now. And they kept saying, where has he been all this time? While they're separate from each other. It's like, I've been busy. Or it's like, I was distracted.
Sure.
He's the villain. He's the bad guy. He's behind it. Bullshit. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Okay, so I will say that his powers are slightly more interesting because, he's Superman. So I guess that does make it more interesting, and he has some more entertaining fight scenes with the deviants. But outside of that, I'm just like, no. That's why I'm arguing he might be the worst one. Might be, but like, then we'll get the Sprite and maybe I'll change my mind. And Kingo. But but yeah, man. Like, there's like, oh my god. And then people were going back to the romance real quick. It's just like, so when they were on the ship going to Earth, apparently nobody knew who each other were. Because the first piece of dialogue that SERSI and IKARIS say to each other is, "Beautiful, isn't it? I'm IKARIS. I'm SERSI." Wait! Time out!
Well, hold on. What?
You're telling me you guys don't know guys don't know each other's names? You don't know you haven't got introduced to each other before going on this mission?
And people want to say that the Eternals have more camaraderie and more family, like, mannerisms than the Avengers.
No. Not at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Dude, the Guardians of the Galaxy have more family dynamics than the Eternals.
Out of like 5 minutes of knowing each other, then the Eternals had an entire movie.
Like, oh my god! So they introduced so they didn't know each other until they were going to Earth. Okay, and then they talk on a canyon, and they fall in love, and they have sex. The first sex scene in the Marvel film, by the way. The first sex scene in the MCU. And it was
I was going to say, in MCU, or was it in any Marvel movie ever?
Well, actually, there have been sex scenes in
actually,
in
Fox,
what?
Yeah.
In the Fox Marvel movies, there have been sex scenes.
Howard the Duck.
We don't talk about Howard the Duck. I don't want to talk about now. Now it's back in my head. The duck boobies, the duck boobs. I wanted to forget that. Thank you, Ruby, for putting that back in my mind. The duck breasts. No. God.
So it's not the first one in a Marvel movie, but the first one in the MCU.
In the MCU, yes.
Okay.
Now, yeah, I will admit that took me off guard because the MCU for the most part wants to be family friendly. So that kind of took me off guard. They put a sex scene in there. But that being said, this is the most PG-13 sex scene that I have ever seen.
Oh my god! I'm not the only one.
No!
Like, this is awful.
This is so bad. And then they're having sex in the desert. They're laying
on
rocks and sand. They're having sex on it. And they're both stiff as a rock when they're on top of each other. Like, are they really? Are they? What? Oh my god! I thought 50 Shades of Grey sex scenes were awkward, but no, man. This is no. This love shit between the two. No, it's a no from me, bro. It's a thumbs down. Don't like it. Now, what I thought was slightly better was the romance between SERSI and Dane. I thought Dane was a much better fit for SERSI, but still not that much development.
Yeah, I was gonna say better fit being the operative word, but like it's still better than Icarus.
Yeah, man, that was
at least Dane is a nice guy,
right?
And he's a human being.
Like, he has emotions. He reacts normally. There's actually some cute scenes between him and SERSI. Like, they have. And
he's playing the character as he's supposed to be portrayed.
Right.
Not dislikable.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I liked Dane. He's also from Game of Thrones. So.
Wait, who else from Eternals was in Game of Thrones?
Okay, so Icarus, Dane, let me see.
Wait, Richard Madden was in Game of Thrones?
Yes, I think so.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
I hate Icarus even more now. Oh no.
Yeah, so all these other projects where he's really good, including Game of Thrones, he comes into Eternals and
oh god, yeah, you really did this guy dirty.
Oh
no.
Dirty. So as far as I would talk about Dane real quick. They do allude to something bigger with his character going forward.
Yes.
But we don't get that till the end of the movie, which is a shame.
That's fine because it's supposed to be more of an Eternals movie, and like, you know, so the setup, like for it to be like an end credits scene for like his setup for like the next Blade film, I was fine with it, you know, and how they played it off, I guess, was like good.
Yeah.
You know,
right? I mean, there was already a lot going on in this movie, so you probably didn't have.
I was gonna say, like, everyone's already like lost their minds over this film for the wrong reason anyway. So,
yep.
You know.
So with Icarus, like, once again, I'm gonna keep iterating stuff they could have done better with these characters. Like, this could have been an interesting thing with Icarus, since he seems kind of cold and distant and doesn't have a lot of humanity as much as the other Eternals. There could have been an interesting development with him trying to figure out his humanity and him learning to love and stuff like that. And SERSI could bring that out of him a little bit. Or if you wanted to keep him stoic, there could have been an interesting love triangle between Icarus, SERSI, and Dane that they could have done. Because they were alluding to that in the beginning of the movie, but they don't go anywhere with it. But no, they don't do that at all. So yeah.
Because SERSI is just afraid of everything, and Icarus is just as hard as a rock.
Yeah. And then Dane's trying to get answers, but nobody's telling him anything.
I was gonna say, like, Dane is literally being portrayed as the actor on set, like trying to get answers out of what is happening in the movie.
Yeah,
like, what is my purpose?
Yeah, this is not a character. This is actually him in real life. Like,
I was gonna say, this is Kit Harington, the character.
Right. This is him going to Chloe Zao, and being like, "Okay, what's going on? What's going on?" And then Chloe's like, "Don't worry about it. We're good. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out."
But
no.
But anyway, moving on. Okay, let's just get this bitch out the way, Sprite. Man, this broad, I swear to God.
No. No.
Uh,
No, we're done.
I can't.
No.
Yeah. She sucks. Moving on. Let's go to.
Yep.
But no, Sprite was so bad. It was so bad. And I don't like picking on child actors. I really don't, because like child actors have come a long way since the 80s and the 90s, where they were really bad.
No. It's not child actors. It's child characters. The actress was okay.
Okay.
The actress was fine.
Okay.
The character she portrayed was crap.
Was horrendous. So her motivation. Okay, let's get her abilities out the way first. Actually, she's Loki. That's what.
Yeah, she can morph herself into another being.
Yep, and then she can do like holograms and like manipulate reality to like make it seem like stuff is there when it's actually not. That's literally Loki. And so her whole thing is that for some reason, they never explain this, but for some reason, Arishem made her a child, and she can never age.
Unless she decides not to be an Eternal, which apparently is a thing.
Yes. So if they're able to get the little gold orb thing and harness the power of that, and all the other Eternals use their powers together for a short period of time, they're able to take away Sprite's powers at the end. Which, not the most ridiculous thing ever, but the way it is written is dumb.
Yeah, that itself is a unique idea. Like when Sprite said, why am I chosen to be an Eternal? Like okay, so there's some actual conflict between this character. They just suddenly end her Eternal's life in a matter of 5 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, we got you. No probs.
Right. Which, I mean, I'm glad, because I don't want to see her again. I don't want to see her again.
Oh, I'm okay with seeing her again. It's just, I'm okay with seeing her not as an Eternal and not as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to fall in love with a 40-year-old man, which I'm not going to let go.
I mean, granted, she's technically an adult in a kid's body, but even still,
That does not count. That doesn't count.
Yeah, you're still gonna. It's still weird. And it's they didn't develop her character enough to make it not weird. If the writing was good, then we could have been more behind it. But the problem is we don't know why she's a kid, and then IKARIS is such a piece of wood that we don't care that she's in love with IKARIS. Why would you be in love with IKARIS? Why would anyone be in love with IKARIS? I don't understand this.
SERSI, we're looking at you.
SERSI, come on, you deserve better.
Let it go.
Let it go, man. But man, and I'm sorry, but she came off as a whitey bitch the entire movie.
Oh
the
my god.
Entire film. And it was hard for me to like her, for me to be I want to see more from her. Granted, if they do decide to bring her back, she's probably going to be dead weight now because she's a human. But if they decide to bring her back and she's growing up and she is not as bitchy and she actually plays an important role in the film, maybe I will warm up to her more.
She would probably, if she ever came back in Eternals 2 or something in years down the line into the future, timeline wise, we could see her as more of a fully grown adult with responsibilities. And she runs into an Eternal on the planet, and she would end up becoming another Dave or a Dane type character.
Maybe
where she could do more things for the Eternals than Dane did. But was it Dane or Dave? I keep forgetting.
Dane.
It's Dane. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she was more useful as an Earth Realm character to help Eternals, that would make her better. Without making her bitchy.
True. But anyway. Sprite sucks.
Truth. She's worse than Captain Marvel for me, honestly.
Honestly, yes. At least Captain Marvel is more productive and useful.
Yeah, she actually like does things and like isn't whiny about it.
But yeah, so I don't know if I said it already, but Sprite, there's also something interesting they could have done with her, where it's like they should have gave a reason why they made her young. It could be a curse or something. I don't know that
Yeah.
a celestial can't break for some reason, and the only way for her to stop this curse is if she sacrifices her powers, which that could have gave a reason for that at the end, and then you could have developed the okay, we don't really need another love triangle within a love triangle, but I guess you could have developed. Actually, it could have worked.
I just don't like love triangles. Just don't do it.
I mean, I'm not a fan of
Too
love
much to
triangles
follow.
either, but love triangles can work if it's written well. But it's
That's
just like
If it's not annoying.
right. So what
Twilight.
they could have done was a forbidden love thing with Icarus and Sprite, but make them better characters. Don't make them how they are now. But it's like they could have done something with that, and then SERSI could go back to Dane, and then everyone would have a lover. There you go. But
Problem solved.
problem solved.
Just end this movie.
All right, so let's go to Kingo.
I am just as confused as you guys are.
Yeah.
You could say how much you love this character. He's not that. He was okay. I'll be fair. He was fine up until the final battle. The moments before the final battle was when I started to hate him.
Yeah.
Everything else before, he was there for comic relief, and I can feel that, and he earned it because he was played by the actor that can do it.
Yeah.
So he's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Outside of that, after Act 3, he is a garbage character.
Yeah. I will say, the actor, I'm not gonna try and say his name again because I'm gonna botch it, but he got in shape for this movie. Like
Oh my god, yeah, he did.
he bulked up, man. It's a shame we didn't get to see it in the movie, but you know that's how these Marvel films are. You get muscled up, but you don't really see it.
Well, we saw it a little bit because I remember, like, in that reveal, in that like Icarus like interrogation reveal or whatever, when Kingo was like holding up his arm like this, as if he was holding up a pistol, where like energy was coming out of his fingers. You could see a little bit of like
Oh, muscle, yeah.
okay, all right.
I'll say, yeah. And even like in his like in the Bollywood dance number. Yeah, there's a Bollywood dance number in this movie.
That was stupid.
Bollywood dance number. You see his muscles, like it's bulging. I'm like, dang, dude.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, that's fair.
So okay, I give it that.
That didn't make the scene better though. It still sucked.
No. Okay, so yeah.
And it raised us another bad character
Yeah, man.
in the director.
Like Chloe. What are we doing, man?
This is lazy now.
Yeah, this Kingo is straight up comic relief. That's it. And I feel like they put him in this movie to appeal to the Bollywood fans, moviegoers, because we know Bollywood is a really huge market in the film industry. People don't notice that. Like it's almost as big as China. So I could see them trying to do that so they can appeal to international viewers. But that being said, like if you're gonna do that, just you gotta write him as a better character, man. It's like man. Okay, a lot of people think that I just poo-poo on any comedy in the MCU. That's not true. I don't have a problem with the Marvel films having comedy. The problem is they need to know when it's the appropriate time to put in comedy.
Yeah, when they over centralize the comedy to undermine the events of something important, then that's where the comedy ends up becoming an issue, which is why Thor Ragnarok, the only real issue that I had with it in Thor Ragnarok, and it's a pretty big issue, is too much comedy.
Too much.
You know, which is why I've said it on every single time I talk about Thor Ragnarok. Remove 5 or 10% of the humor, the movie is 20% better.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yeah, but don't expect that for Love and Thunder. Do not expect that for Love and
know
Thunder.
what's gonna happen in Love and Thunder. If I'm being like, I think that they're gonna do. They're I'm hoping that they impress me with this movie because I'm not really feeling it. The Natalie Portman stuff they might sell me on because I just love Natalie Portman as an actress. But like everything else outside of that is just, I don't know. The first preview is not selling me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the Guardians and Natalie Portman as Thor probably will be the saving graces, and I am curious to see how Christian Bale does as Gore the God Butcher.
He's a good actor. Like he's done his stuff in past films. Like he might be able to do it.
Might be able to do it. And then Russell Crowe being Zeus, I'm wondering about that as well. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be good. I'll be honest, but we'll see. But yeah, Icarus is. I mean, I'm sorry, we're not on Icarus anymore. Kingo. Kingo's powers is he can shoot lasers out of his fingers. Pew 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 pew. Dude, Lily, I was doing that to myself when I was watching it. Like I couldn't help it when he was doing his powers. I can't help but going pew 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 pew. Like, I mean, I'll say it's lame. It's lame.
It is. Like it like on the surface, like it's powerful, but like it's so generic.
Yeah, man.
It really is.
And it's like he there's that one point in the movie when they're fighting in the forest and he's charging up a little ball to blow up Deviant's head. I'm like, that's the best you can do? Come on, bruh. Have you watched Dragon Ball Z? Like, come on, you can do better than that. But
he doesn't have the power of the Dragon Balls. He can't unleash his Kamehameha.
But yeah, man, it's like now I'll say some of his comedy was funny. I thought some of his stuff was funny, but the stuff with him documenting himself, because he's a big movie star. He made himself a movie star throughout the generations, convincing people that it's his great grandfather and his grandfather and stuff like that, when it was actually him throughout the years. So okay, that was,
yeah, that was actually a pretty funny moment.
Yeah, but him documenting himself with the camera with his cameraman Karoon, I'm like,
get him off of my screen.
Yeah, that was a little much.
Character.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. Just like, did we need the sidekick? We did not need the sidekick. Like, oh, bruh. And then the Eternals keep destroying his cameras, and he keeps pulling out another one. I'm just like, what the heck, man? Where's you getting all these cameras from, bruh? But you got to be prepared for that stuff, you know. Because me being a filmmaker, you got to be prepared for that stuff. So that's smart. But even then, I'm like, dude, we did not need the wacky sidekick for Kingo, man.
I was gonna say, like, we get the joke. We don't need this for like the only other half of the movie.
No. Didn't need this. As far as development, I think they could have done better. Maybe there could have been a thing of where, okay, because we did establish him running away from the fight at the end was bullshit. Like, and that like, he literally left. Like, there wasn't a whole thing of like, oh, he doubted himself, so he's gonna go off for a while, but then he's gonna come in at the last minute and help. You know, he just never comes back to help the Eternals ever. What?
No.
What? Because he's scared.
Yeah.
I get being scared. I get it. But the Eternals were scared too, but they still did it. And it's not like you're the weakest Eternal of them. You're not the strongest, but you're not the weakest.
You're not the most worthless Eternal either.
Yeah,
like, you can kill things.
Right. You did kill a deviant. So it's like, you could have done something. You could have helped Phastos fight Icarus at the end. You know? Or fought alongside MAKKARI or something. But no, you ran away. And then they had the balls to have him show up at the conclusion of the film.
No.
And he's all talking about like, we sacrificed everything. Bitch, what did you do?
What do you mean?
We sacrificed everything? No.
We.
You didn't sacrifice shit. Like, what did you do? You sacrificed your Bollywood movie not being made. That's all you did. That's all you did. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, he's a piece of shit. But
Yeah.
like his character, how they could have developed his character more. Like him not feeling like he's not worthy enough to be an Eternal. You know, he feels like he's a joke, and he's not as powerful as everyone else. There could have been a similar thing with SERSI, where she doesn't feel like she's good enough. They could have built up each other or something throughout the movie or something, or have him be more serious and confident as the movie goes on. Like, there could have been something good with him, but it's just like, yeah, he goes from being this joke movie star person to being this really powerful, brave warrior, and people taking him more seriously. And like, this could have been an opportunity for Kumail to be taken more serious as an actor, and be not thought of with his comedic roles. You know, that could have been something, but no, they stuck with what was familiar. So I was like, all right, whatever. Okay. Well, we got the baddie turtles out the way, or the iffy turtles out the way. Wait, actually, no. There's one more. There's one more.
There's still one more.
Okay, DRUIG.
You better get this right. There we go. Yep. I was gonna say, you better get this right too.
All right, DRUIG. Okay, so this one I feel like we might debate on, because I don't hate him.
I hated him the only time that I saw the film, which is why I say I plan on going back to see it again, because I was so fixated on like, holy crap, this movie is bad when I saw it in the theaters. Now I can see it at home and see like, okay, is this character like actually good or not, or are people just overreacting a bit?
I know. So I would say with his character, he had the most potential for growth, in my opinion. Because he, as far as his conflict in the movie, he's actually bringing up some really good points. He's questioning the rules of the Celestials and why they can't interfere with humanity. You know, that's a question I feel like at least one of them would bring up, you know. And as far, you know, as his abilities, it kind of lines up to, you know, him having the abilities that he has, and he's not able to do more with it. His ability is that he can mind control people to do whatever they want.
He's mind stone the character.
Yes. So his whole thing is that he sees all the wars going on throughout history, and they can't interfere. And he's all like, we have all these gifts and abilities, and we can't do anything. And he doesn't feel like the reason that they're doing this, there's not really a good reason why they're not helping out humanity more. And so he's giving AJAK attitude and stuff like that, because like everyone else is like, you know, everyone else doesn't want to break the rules and doesn't want to question anything, you know, but like he seems to be the only one that wants to talk, that actually is speaking sense about all this, being like, we're gods, pretty much gods among these beings, and we're not doing anything. It feels like we're irresponsible, or it's like we're selfish in a way. So it's like, I could see that whole motivation like being, you know, better. It's just that they just don't go into that enough. You know, they talk about it in one scene, and then all of a sudden everyone breaks up. I'm like, this was not something that they built up, because the movie is jumping all over the place. We're mainly in present day, but then they're jumping to different points in time where the Eternals are fighting the Deviants in different periods of history and stuff like that. And none of those times in the other periods of the flashbacks do they ever bring up tension of them interfering or stuff like that, outside of Phastos wanting to create technology for the humans. But that's it. No one else questions it. No one else gets into a situation where they feel like they should do more. Like, no. Like, DRUIG is the only one questioning it. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I don't fully hate it. Like, I get his motivations, but they don't go into that enough. That's my whole problem. And then he kind of does act like a punk too. I'll admit that. He kind of acts like a punk as well. So it's like, it's hard for me to like him in a lot of situations. But like, what's really bringing it around for me, for him as a character, is MAKKARI. I love the relationship between, well, I wouldn't say love is the word, but I thought the relationship between Druig and MAKKARI made it enough worthwhile to where he's not completely a douche, you know? He has a soul, but it just is not coming out enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly don't have much to say about this character because they're really just hitting all the points for me. As if I do understand, like, you know, there is something like he sees the flaw within the Eternals and like why they're giving these powers, but they can't really do anything about it. I can understand that. Like, he's trying to like be our like audience related character, but they just make him so. The problem is they make him so unlikable as a character that we can't really, like, we don't want to relate to someone who's unlikable.
Yeah, I definitely,
you know,
get that.
That's where my issue lies, is that, like, you know, he's a brat throughout the entire film, yet he has all these reasons for us to try and like him, or to try and, like, reason with him.
Yeah.
When we're not really on his side in the first place because he's not a likable character.
Right.
You know?
And it's like, I wish there were more scenes with MAKKARI so they could soften him up a bit, and then maybe she could try and, you know, give some reason to Druig, so, you know, he could understand more of, you know, why they do what they do, and he wouldn't, you know, he could see both sides, but we don't see that enough.
MAKKARI honestly would have been with Druig this entire time, on his, like, in his village.
Honestly, yes. Why were they split apart?
Yeah, why were they split apart in the first place? She could literally run across the entire Earth in a second.
Right. You know, I thought, yeah.
Where is she?
She wasn't even doing anything. She was staying in the ship.
She was just chilling.
Chilling.
She was waiting, like, wasn't she waiting in, like, the Eternals, like, pyramid or whatever?
Yep. Waiting to go home? Yep.
Like, yeah, I'm ready to go home. Like, I've been waiting for you guys.
How about MAKKARI go to Druig and be like, you stay with me.
Like,
you stay with me, Druig. Don't be in this village mind controlling people. You stay with me. MAKKARI, use that pussy power. Come on. Come on now.
Oh no.
But anyway,
that would have made a more interesting sex scene.
Honestly,
I'm just saying.
But yeah, so that's what I would. That's pretty much how I would fix it, because, you know, the blueprint is there to make him a better character. But like the one piece that's missing is MAKKARI, I feel, because she would soften him up as a character and make him more relatable, and the romance would be a lot better. But speaking of that, let's go to the good Eternals now, the best Eternals.
Please.
Let's go to MAKKARI, since we're already talking about her.
Thank God.
Yes. She
There is a little bit of hope in this movie.
A little bit of hope. I think she's the best. Do you think she's the best? Or she's my favorite. I wouldn't say she's like the best Eternal, but she is my favorite.
Yeah, she might be my favorite Eternal, but the best Eternal, I think, is either THENA or Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I agree.
But like MAKKARI is like still like my favorite of, like, MAKKARI is like, it's for me, like, in terms of favorites, MAKKARI, THENA, Gilgamesh. But like in terms of like which ones are the best Eternals, it's the other order. It's Gilgamesh, THENA, and then MAKKARI for me. And then Phastos is 4.
Actually, yeah, I agree with that.
Because Phastos is like the borderline of like, okay, but like he was almost like steering towards like the like he was almost steering towards the bad side, but then he ended up like having some redeeming quality, like enough redeeming qualities about him where it's just like, okay, yeah, you're fine.
Right.
You're fine.
Yeah. But yeah, MAKKARI, she was such a surprise in this movie. And it's great that there's more representation for deaf people. And so recently on the Oscars, a deaf movie won Best Film. I was very happy for that as well. I forget. I gotta find the. I'm gonna look up the name because I want to give it. I want to give it the recognition. There. So.
What year was it? The most recent one?
Yeah, it was this year. Yeah.
I think it was Coda.
Coda. Yes, thank you. Coda won best film, and I'm happy for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna find a way to watch it. But
I believe it's on HBO.
HBO Max.
Well, I see that there's like a watch now for a subscription on Apple TV, but like, what are the other options? Oh, I think that's just the only option.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that sucks. Oh well. At least there's a way to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's on YouTube. Or actually, wait. What? When was this released? Actually, yeah, it might be on YouTube.
It might be on YouTube. I think it was released like last year.
It was last August.
Last August, yeah. But yeah, so the actress playing MAKKARI, Lauren Redloff, is actually deaf in real life. So, glad they got her in this. And dude, she was one of the most likable characters in the movie.
A character that says nothing is more likable than more than half of the Eternals.
Like, what is this? What is going on, man?
You are doing something wrong. Granted, the deaf character is good.
Yes.
Not to say that they're bad. They are definitely good.
Yeah,
but they are still better than more than half the Eternals.
Right, it's like we just don't see this nowadays. Just like someone with that type of disability, like upstaging most of the people like that they actually speak.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like she, there's not too much to say about her because she's not in it. I mean, she's in it, but it's like she doesn't get as much development as everyone else.
Yeah, she doesn't really get any sort of development outside of like, she has a thing for DRUIG.
Yeah. Which
we see throughout the movie, but like when we first when we're reintroduced to her towards the end of the film, she doesn't really get all that much outside of like being like more helpful than almost any other Eternal in the final battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
like the only thing I can get from her is that like, I mean, I guess she is one of the hearts of the team. I think her and Gilgamesh are like the glue that keeps everyone together. But I see that she likes to protect people from danger. And that's pretty much all I can get from her because there's times where some people were about to get hurt or injured or whatever, squashed by giant rocks and stuff like that. She likes to save people randomly, even though she's not supposed to do that. Wait, is she? I think she's supposed to do that. Is she supposed to do that? I mean, I don't know.
Honestly, I think so.
Or she doesn't like people stealing, so she stops some people from stealing.
Actually, yeah, I think that's what it is. It's like she doesn't want like people to like get in like a fight or something.
Right. So, man, I mean, even though she's our favorite, there's not too much to say about her because she doesn't
really do much.
Man.
But like she's so like what am I trying to say here? She has the heart and soul of the Eternals. Like she's the heart and soul of everyone.
Yeah.
And you could feel that within her emotions, like within her facial expressions.
Right.
Which is why I think she's also a great actress too. She needs to be in more stuff.
I agree. And as we said, her superpower is super speed, so that was pretty cool.
Super simple, doesn't need to be overly executed or explained. She's super fast, and she stays super fast.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great.
Do that with every other Eternal. This is how you make a good character, and they don't say anything.
Right. And it's like, if you're going to have complicated powers, put them on display properly. And they do it properly with her character. Well, it also helps that her powers are simple. But like, when she's in that final battle with IKARIS, she was kicking his ass for a minute. I was like, yes, get him, MAKKARI, get him.
Yeah, this is the only time that Flash will beat Superman.
Yep. I'm sure they were thinking of Justice League when doing this movie.
Oh, they had to have watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, or no? Yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Well, they were in both versions. It was in both versions.
That's true. They may have saw like only like the ending credit scene with Flash and Superman at the end of Justice League or something, and said, "Hey, that'd be funny."
But yeah, man, she was.
Wouldn't it be funny if these two characters were in a Marvel movie? And the guy that has like ultimate like universal like eye laser powers can easily be beaten by someone who just runs.
That's kind of embarrassing, but you know.
Yeah, that's got to be embarrassing. Let's see what we can do with that.
You're right. Okay, so let us go to trying to find his picture. Yep, Phastos. I would say he gets the most humanity as far as the development is concerned. Like because like he felt the most human out of everyone else.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could buy that because we saw that he had a family, he had a husband, he had a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and like we see that he cares about his people.
Yes.
You know, like it's not even like mutual either. It's like we actually see him like care about people.
Right.
And it's not even like without even being like, you know, feelings mutual and all that.
So
you know, he's not a joke.
He's not a joke. And some people were saying that he was a joke in this movie. I'm like, you shut your mouth.
Jesus.
He's so good in this movie. And also the actor. Let me pull up the actor's name. Brian Tyree Henry. I like Brian Tyree Henry. He was in Godzilla vs. Kong, and I liked him in that as well. Didn't expect him to be in this movie either. But yeah, as I said, he felt the most human out of all the Eternals. It was nice seeing him have a family, as we said, and it's like as far as his role with the evolution of humanity, you feel like he got the most emotional out of it because like the abilities that he can do. First of all, he's a technopath, I guess. He can create technology out of his mind or whatever and create different things and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. But like he wants to use his powers to help progress humanity. But once again, he's instructed not to interfere at all. Or if he's going to interfere, he can't have his technology be so advanced and where it'll mess with humanity in a negative way. You know, it's like they have to be a slow progression. Like, you know, humanity started out with fire, you know, and then they evolved from that, you know? Like, don't just introduce this big old tech thing to help them do stuff easily. Like, because, like, in earlier times in BC, humanity was not ready for that. So, that was an interesting conflict as well. But once again, didn't go into it enough. Need to go into it more. There's literally a scene that just came out of nowhere, which on paper could have been really, really interesting and heartfelt. But it was just jarring where they placed it. There's literally a scene where he's in an area full of like debris and ashes, and they allude that it was the atom bomb or something like that. And he apparently was the one that influenced them to create technology to make the atom bomb. And then he sees the results of that, and a bunch of people died from that, as history is shown from war and stuff like that. And
I forgot about that scene.
Yep, and he's just laying in the debris or sitting in the debris, crying, being like, "I thought I was doing something good. The humanity is not worth saving," and stuff like that. And like AJAK is there, you know, to try and comfort him and stuff like that. Like that's a really good scene, but I don't feel anything because
it's in the wrong place.
It's in the wrong place. You didn't build this up at all, which is why I said this movie should have been a period piece. Seeing humanity progress with the Eternals there, so you can have more time to build up to that, to see him actually interact with the humans more and with the technology that he's creating, stuff like that. So when it got to that point, we'll feel more, but we don't. You know, it's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah, I mean, there's not too much I could say that like that I feel like his character needs fixing, because I said the blueprint for his stuff is there. They just needed to execute it better. What I also liked is that the movie's trying to be a little bit more progressive, where he's gay. and he has a son with his significant other, which I
Mhm.
thought that was nice. That was nice. They didn't put any attention on it. They didn't make it a big deal. It was just there. So I was like, I'm happy. This is how you slowly progress us into, introducing more of that stuff for the community, without it shoehorning it in your face or making it feel like an agenda. Now, unfortunately, international like theaters probably wouldn't be as happy about it. They're very touchy about the subject with the LGBT stuff. I heard recently that Multiverse of Madness is banned in other countries because America Chavez's parents are gay. So it's like it's not
That's
looking great.
stupid.
It is stupid.
Like, get over it.
Like, come on now. But yeah, it is what it is. Whatever. I thought the stuff with his son was cute. I like the whole thing of like he's trying to protect his son from violence and stuff like that, or teaching him violence, but then the Eternals are like showing how cool they are with the powers and stuff like that, and then he's like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And then Phastos like, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. Let's go in the other room. No, don't pay attention to him." So I thought that was kind of funny.
The only issue that I have with that is that his son is referencing DC in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Chloe.
That's been happening a lot. That's not just with this movie. That's been happening in other films and shows too.
I know, but that doesn't mean that you keep going with it.
Oh no,
Chloe.
that's exactly what that means. They're like, oh, you did in these other movies and shows? Okay, I'll do it myself because I like DC. Which I'm like, okay, whatever. So good luck getting that crossover with DC if that ever's gonna happen. I don't think it's ever gonna happen, but
It's not.
At least not in our lifetime.
It's never. No, it will never happen. It will never happen. Period. Because if you do, you are alienating one of the fan bases.
That's true.
Because like in that opening, like the opening credits scene, whose logo is going to come up first? Is it DC or is it Marvel? I said DC first. Like, is that a bad thing?
Actually,
actually,
I didn't think of that. They probably have a fight with that too. Like, our logo's going up first. No, our logo's coming up first.
I was gonna say, and also like, whose character is gonna be the main hero? Is it gonna be Batman, or are they gonna bring back Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, or are they gonna do like any of the other newer stuff? Are they gonna do Doctor Strange, or are they gonna do whoever is the Doctor Strange in DC? I don't even know. I'm not that knowledgeable. I'm sorry.
Dr. Fate.
Okay, well there you go. Is it going to be him? Like, we don't even know this character.
Well, we're about to see
I didn't even know the character existed.
Oh, go see Black Adam because he's going to be in that.
That's true. Isn't that delayed until 2023?
No, it's coming in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are so many movies that are getting, or so many things that are getting delayed until 2023. I just keep forgetting. Like, I know the Marvels is delayed to 2023. The Mario movie is delayed until 2023.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine. By the way, did you know that Brian Tyree Henry was in Joker?
Yes.
2019 Joker?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, his role wasn't that big, but yeah.
Yeah, it says his name was Carl.
Carl.
So, and apparently he was listed to be in a potential Joker sequel.
I think they're still trying to do it.
I really think so too, but I think Joaquin Phoenix is done.
Great. If he's done, then no Joker 2. Thank God. I don't think they will ever do reference Marvel in the DC movie. I don't think they've done that yet.
They're pansies. They don't do that. They're too serious to talk about Marvel.
Too serious. Well, until Aquaman, Shazam, and the Suicide Squad came in, and it was like, actually, we're a little sillier. Mm-hmm. but anyway, so yeah, Phastos I thought was really good. Okay, final two Eternals. We finally got to the final two Eternals. Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh. I really like Gilgamesh.
He was awesome.
So good.
Why did they kill him off?
I don't know.
Why?
Why
do you do that?
Why do you do that? Look, and I knew an Eternal was gonna die. I knew that was gonna happen.
It was bound to. At least two Eternals were dying in that movie, which was also jarring to figure out.
Right, but it's like Gilgamesh. Like he was
of all characters,
one of the best Eternals there, and it's like, no. Gee, I mean, yeah, he was.
I literally scoffed in the movie theater, like, damn it,
Yeah,
this can't be happening.
Yeah, so his powers are he has super strength and super punches and stuff like that. So that was, once again, his powers are simple, but it was effective. It was really cool what he did. And once again, he was another one of the hearts of the movie
Yes.
that helped, to glue the Eternals together. And he was funny, he was charming, he was caring. I like the relationship between him and THENA. We'll get to THENA in a minute, but it's like that. I really liked. He felt stoic, but he had emotion and he was caring at the same time. That's how you do it, IKARIS. You can be stoic, but you can be
put Gilgamesh in the same scene as Wong.
Oh, that'll be fun.
You're gonna get something good.
That would have been a fun exchange.
That would have been a really good exchange.
Robbed
but you
us
killed
of
him
that.
off.
Robbed us. Gosh darn it. And no, we're not.
Except no, you didn't, because multiverse is a thing.
Oh, that's true. So they could technically bring.
They could, and you know what else? They could potentially bring IKARIS back because they, for some reason, they killed him off. Like he killed himself for no reason.
Well, okay. So what they were trying to do was being like, I went against my orders of the Celestials, so I don't feel like I can live anymore. So I'm gonna kill myself. And then they were doing. Yeah.
Cry me a river.
Like I betrayed the Celestials. I for love. I can't live anymore. I can't sacrifice everything for love.
After you had an entire 1,000 years of falling in love with someone.
And then they wanted to do the whole
shoot myself.
And then it was really on the nose how he killed himself, because IKARIS is like from the Greek mythology, like he flew too close to the sun. So what does he do? He literally flies into the sun. He flies into the sun.
Into it. Like the dumbass that he is.
That was okay. Come on, guys.
Okay. Gilgamesh. Great character.
Yeah, Gilgamesh. Really good character. Really liked it. I like the scene where they go to his lair, his house, whatever, and he's making a bunch of food and stuff like that. So that was nice. So they all had dinner together, and he was cooking and made pie and stuff like that. And he made that drink that he used from his own spit. Ill.
That is a little weird, but I mean...
no. But yeah, really, really likable. There's not really much I could change about his character except give him more to do. Don't kill him off. How about that?
I was gonna say, don't kill off good characters.
Yeah, that's literally all I can do. There's nothing really development-wise I would change, really, because he was very likable. He was very charming. He was very badass. He did everything right for me. So,
maybe give him a little bit. Honestly, maybe give him a little bit more of a reason to be there solely for THENA.
Oh yeah, develop more the relationship.
Yeah, develop more of that relationship, because like I felt that they cared for each other, and like, he's there to be her bodyguard and whatnot, to like help her from her demons or whatnot, like internal demons or whatever it is. But
yeah.
Like I feel like I need more than that.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like I need more of that camaraderie between those characters, which again is the problem. The camaraderie does not exist.
It does not exist. We got to put everything on hold for this. We gotta stop the deviants, and we gotta stop the Celestial from coming out of the Earth. Okay, whatever. Stupid. Okay, last but not least, we have THENA, played by Angelina Jolie.
In the flesh.
Yes. As I said, it was a shock to me that they were able to get Angelina Jolie in a Marvel film.
I am not surprised at all.
Not at all.
I'm just saying. Marvel has enough money to put in whoever they want at this point. And putting in Angelina Jolie from Kung Fu Panda, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like...
You're right.
Come on.
If she can do Kung Fu Panda and Maleficent, she could do...
Next in line is Jack Black. In a Marvel comedy film.
Well, let's see
how... It has to be a specific Marvel character.
Well, let's see how he does his Bowser first, and then I will make judgment.
I think he can pull off a pretty decent Bowser. I think he'll be pretty funny. I'm more excited about that than the Keegan-Michael Key's Toad.
I'm like, what the hell?
That's the one that's throwing me off a little
That's
bit.
throwing
Like,
me off.
no, that's an Illumination thing. That's Illumination crap.
That's Illumination shit.
Don't do that.
It's
That's literally that is literally like the executives of of Nintendo, the Mario movies, went to Illumination and said, "All right, you have the right to select one person to play as one of our characters. Who are you choosing? Keegan-Michael Key is Toad. Done. Like,
I'm gonna say this right now. If you give Toad black slang, I am walking out of the theater.
I will walk out of your movie and ask for a refund.
You better not give Toad slang. I swear to God. I swear.
They better not get. They can give him sunglasses, fine. Don't make him like obviously.
Yo, what up, dude? Hey, that's whack, man. No,
don't do that.
Hell no.
Don't do that.
No. But anyway, THENA, she was badass too. I really liked her.
Really good.
Yeah, and once again, taking a lot of inspiration from Greek mythology because of Athena, the goddess of war. I think that's. Hopefully, let us check to make sure I've said it right. Athena, the god of what is Athena, the god of?
Athena, the goddess of war.
Yes, the goddess of war. Yes, so I got that right. So yeah, a lot of inspiration from that. Her powers are is she can manifest these weapons, these like cosmic like weapons like swords and shields and axes and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Simple but effective. And I thought it was interesting, the whole thing with her memories are corrupting her into attacking people. So okay, though my issue with that is this is a ongoing thing with all these Eternals. We need more development with that. I know they want to keep it a mystery, you know, to keep the mysticism of THENA's character there, like not know everything about her past, but like I feel like we just need a little bit more, you know, and we needed like some sort of okay. So here's the thing. So like this is why the whole thing of the Celestials creating them and them not actually coming from an actual planet and or their own civilization doesn't make any sense, because she has memories from her past that makes it seem like she's from her own planet and civilization, but it technically doesn't exist. So where's she getting these memories from?
Assumptions?
Assumptions of what?
Visions?
Visions of what? That's what I'm saying. We need to see some of that so we can get some context of why she feels she does the things she does. You know? Mm-hmm. Which is why there should have been more. We should have just had the Eternals come from Olympia, like they actually are from the comics, and we actually see the Eternals, you know, growing up and thriving on their planet, and then we could actually see one or two flashbacks of Athena going through whatever tragic backstory or flashback she's dealing with in her mind to get some context of why her mind is acting up the way she is, and give a reason of why that's affecting her and nobody else. Like we just needed to see some context of that, and like because it makes it seem like she's a liability to the Eternals, you know, because like you never know when she's going to go haywire and start trying to hurt the other Eternals and possibly kill them. So it's like, you know, you're just making her a liability at that point. So it's just like we just needed some more context with that. And as we said earlier, there needed to be more development with Gilgamesh and Athena together, develop their relationship. I'm not expecting a romance. Like, we don't need a romance with that either. You know, it could be a friendship thing. That's fine. But if they did do a romance, if they did it correctly, I'll be okay with it. There'll be a lot of romances.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think that they were really doing a romance, but like if that's what they were trying to do in this film, I guess it worked.
Maybe
more often than it didn't.
more often than didn't, but better than Cersei and Icarus. But
yeah, because like if you got it better than Cersei and Icarus, you're doing something right.
right. But I was completely fine with them being close friends. Let's just stick with that,
Mhm.
But yeah, man, that's not much with her either. She had some really badass fight scenes. And
She's
yeah,
Angelina Jolie. She's intended to be badass,
right?
and she doesn't die.
She doesn't die, thank God. I was expecting that too because with these bigger actors or actresses, like you could only get them for one movie, and it's like they kill them off or something. But I'm glad they didn't do that. They're saving her for more.
Yeah.
So I'm glad. Okay. So we went through all the Eternals finally. 2 hours in.
Yeah.
There's so many characters in this movie.
There's too many characters.
Too many characters. So so that leaves us enough time to talk about the climax now. It's trash. Well, okay, I would say it's okay. The directing and the sequence itself is not trash. It was exciting to watch the Eternals fight Icarus. It was a really cool scene. But the plan of them stopping the Celestial from emerging from the Earth is utter nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Yeah.
So one thing before we get into it, more things we got a question from the Celestials. It seems like Icarus is the right person to become the leader of the Eternals as far as Arsham is concerned, because Icarus seems to be the only one that is trying to make sure that the Celestial emerges from the Earth, right? And everyone else is questioning it. So he should be the leader, correct?
Why are they going for Cersei?
Yes. Why did Arasham choose Cersei? She's questioning everything. Like, you don't think that would go haywire at some point? And then here's what I also got a question. Is Celestial watching over the Earth constantly, or is he picking and choosing when to watch? Because it seems like there's certain instances where the Eternals are doing stuff that they're not supposed to, and Arsham doesn't instantly act on it. But as soon as other things happen, then he wants to come in and be like, okay. Then he wants to talk to them. Like, when is Arsham watching the Earth? Like, can we just get an understanding of that? Like,
maybe he noticed that like one member. He noticed that there's like one less member of the Celestials than he originally was planning on, and he's just assuming that the one on Earth just didn't come to life. So that's when he ended up coming in. I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
So yeah, this whole conflict could have been avoided if you just gave the golden orb thing to Icarus.
Then his reveal would be more impactful.
Yes.
And and the Celestials' reasoning for stealing the Eternals would have made more sense.
Right.
Because they killed their leader.
Yeah. Hello.
Screenwriting 101.
Hello.
Just
okay.
saying.
Yeah. So the whole plan of the Eternals is that they're going to use the gold orb that Arsham puts in Cersei, and they're going to use that to make all the Eternals' powers combine, so Cersei can use her matter manipulation to stop the Celestial from emerging from the Earth by turning the Celestial into ice. Because that's how that works. You're gonna turn the Celestial into ice, and that's gonna save the Earth.
Because a supernatural entity could easily be stopped by ice.
And then, not to mention, I'm gonna talk about physics in this movie. You know, I know it's a Marvel film, comic book logic. You gotta suspend your disbelief, but like, it's got to a point where I'm questioning a lot of things now because you still, to an extent, play by regular human physics when you're on Earth. If a head that big from the celestial and a part of a hand is coming out of the Earth, that would somewhat affect the gravitational polarity of the planet. Right? There should be tsunamis and earthquakes and possibly
everywhere.
Possibly volcanoes going off when the celestial is emerging from the Earth.
Everywhere, because the fingers are pulling out from like every corner of the planet.
Right. But nobody is affected by it anywhere around the world. It's just that specific part where the celestial head is emerging.
And no one else feels it.
No one else feels it. Oh, that's another thing. The problem with it being in present day, does S.H.I.E.L.D. not know about what's going on?
Doesn't S.H.I.E.L.D. not exist anymore, though?
Okay, I guess not, but like, there are no...
S.H.I.E.L.D. was corrupted.
S.H.I.E.L.D. was corrupted, yes. Okay, but... Okay, S.W.O.R.D. then. S.W.O.R.D. didn't know this was happening? The other
S.W.O.R.D. has a whole field of idiots.
That's true.
So, I mean, like...
But Wanda didn't know what was happening. Doctor Strange didn't know what was happening. Like, no Avenger knew this was happening. A giant celestial head coming out of the Earth.
Wanda, to be fair, Wanda probably wouldn't even care. Doctor Strange would have. Wanda probably wouldn't care, though.
Why would she not care?
Because she only cares about
herself.
herself.
Out of the Earth, she's dead too.
I mean,
she's dead too.
I don't know.
Why would she not care?
She was sort of playing off in WandaVision as if her life sort of meant nothing without Vision, so...
How could you have Vision when there's no planet? Even if it's a hologram that she was doing in WandaVision, how could you make a hologram when you have no planet? To make a civilization, to make a city in WandaVision, to make that sitcom-y stuff, there is no civilization for you to do it. If you, okay. You see what I'm talking? This doesn't make sense. This is why this shouldn't have took place in present day. Actually, I'll take a step further. They shouldn't have done this celestial coming out of the Earth crap yet. If they want to do this, this shouldn't have been in this movie. This should have been a thing for the sequels to set up a bigger threat. If the Celestials are going to be set up as an antagonist for future Marvel films, that could have been a great conflict for a future movie. But they put it in this film, and it doesn't make sense in the context of present-day Marvel because other events and other stuff happening around the world would have been set off by this one cataclysmic event. This should have been a period piece. This doesn't make sense. Turning a Celestial into ice should not be enough. Should not be enough. And you're making us, and you're trying to convince us that Eternals are powerful enough to stop a Celestial, even though the Celestials are the one that created you. So no, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No, it can't. No, nope. And yeah, the whole thing of IKARIS helping because she loves SERSI. I can't kill her. That's not bought in. And then, oh, okay. So here's what I'm trying to understand. So when all the Eternals are rising up and they're forming their powers together, it made it seem like the only way for that to happen is if the Eternals are willingly giving their powers to each other, right? Because IKARIS was like hesitating at first, right? It didn't instantly happen for him, but he slowly went along and was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. But then Sprite, from what I understand, she wasn't with it because she betrayed the Eternals too and went with IKARIS, right? Because she loves him. She loves him so much. But then at the end, when all the Eternals' powers are coming together, she just goes and does it with them. Like, wait, I thought she wasn't with it.
What? I don't know.
I thought she was against this. Why is she going up Like, there's no hesitation. She's just like, I'm there. Like, what? 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 No! No!
Plus, I don't even know if they can all do it at once because they're missing like 2 members already. They're down to 8 Eternals.
Oh, yeah, wait, like, yeah, Gilgamesh and Kingo. Like, what are they?
And AJAK.
Kingo and AJAK. Like, yeah. So Gilgamesh and AJAK are dead, and then Kingo ran away.
Pussy's
So
out
did
at the
he?
last minute.
Right. Did he agree to it? Like, did the powers just take him over and went like, oh, I'm gonna do it? Like, did they? I need answers, bro. So yeah, no. And then, even if you want us to buy into the fact that they were able to freeze an entire Celestial, still, nobody reacts to the fact that there's a giant Celestial head popping out of the Earth? Is that going to be a
with
plot
celestial
point?
fingers?
With celestial fingers? Is nobody going to address this? I'm assuming they're not going to. In future movies, whatever they are, Captain America, Doctor Strange, whatever, they're not gonna.
No, because Spider-Man's identity is more important than a celestial trying to consume a planet.
Yeah. So, it's raising too many questions. It's too many questions. I wish I had the Riddler drop from Batman Forever. Too many questions. Too many questions. But like, man, this is the type of stuff where I was afraid that Marvel was gonna get stuck in, was that they're introducing too many higher beings in the Marvel universe, and they're not connecting with each other, and they're making stuff inconsistent. And even though I'm really excited for Multiverse of Madness, I'm worried of how the Illuminati is going to be factored in as well. Is that going to make sense? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Too many higher beings need to stop. They need to stop.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in a 2 hour and 6 minute film, from what I was told.
Yes, 2 hours and 6 minutes. I mean, granted, Sam Raimi knows how to tell a story in 2 hours and 6 minutes. He did it with the Spider-Man movies. So, but at the same time, I know how Marvel is, being like, we need you to put this in the movie, and we need you to cut this out as well. We're gonna micromanage you. So, I hope it's the best of both worlds. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Sam Raimi wouldn't sign on to something as micromanaged as the MCU if he didn't think that something good would come out of it. You know.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, anything that we liked other than that? Is there anything?
The cinematography, I get again. The cinematography was good, and like Gilgamesh, THENA, PHASTOS, MAKKARI.
Yeah.
That's really all I have about this movie.
Yeah,
which is
like,
not a lot.
Right, and the ambition of the world building and the mythology is cool looking, interesting looking. Yeah. Let me.
But remember, ambitious film does not good filmmaking.
We need to make that a t-shirt. Ambitious film does not good make film. I like that. But I want to talk about a little bit more about the cinematography and how it's shot and stuff like that, because like I don't think we're putting enough emphasis enough, because Chloe Zhao, as much as we have a problem with the story that she did, the way she shot this film is really, really good. It's really
the way that the film is made is good.
Yes.
Okay, it's professionally made. Everything looks good.
Yes.
And the previews were actually selling me, because you know, visually it looks different and it looks good.
Right. There's some really nice sunset shots and like establishing shots that she does in this movie. Really, really nice, really atmospheric. It makes the movie feel big, you know. And especially whenever Arisham comes up, like, you feel the scale of Arisham. Like,
yeah, you feel that he's big.
Yes,
he is big.
He's big. And it's like the action scenes I thought was directed really, really well. It was very fast paced. It was really intense. You know,
for the most part.
For the most part, like she had a really good handle on the action. And it's like, I know people want to complain about the desaturated colors, and it feels like a DC film. It doesn't feel like a DC film. It doesn't.
No,
it still feels like a
it's
Marvel
too bland
movie.
to be a DC film.
But it's just no. It still feels like a Marvel movie, but it's just more. It's more subdued than what we normally get from a Marvel film. But at the same time, it still has that wacky, silly humor here and there, which I'm like, it made it. The tones kind of clashed a little bit in certain places, but like, it still felt in line with what a Marvel film is. It just tries something new, and I definitely commend Chloe Zhao for trying something new. But that being said, you feel like Chloe Zhao isn't really fully comfortable being in this big budget blockbuster type of atmosphere.
Not at all.
No. Like there's some awkward direction here and there, and like she came up with the story as well, as we said. Like you still felt like she doesn't have a full grasp on how the MCU is as far as the world building. It feels like she doesn't fully understand everything that's going on. So it's like she's trying to make it up in the best way that she knows how. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if she was the best choice for this film. I'll be honest. And I feel like Kevin Feige should have came in a little bit more and like explained some more things about the world before having her write the story for this. I'm not saying that they need to micromanage her, but it's just like it felt like once again he gave her a little too much creative control in certain moments. But you know, it's hard for me to say because you know we weren't behind the scenes, we didn't know what was going on. But it's like it's clear I felt like Chloe Zhao was kind of lost in a couple places. So if they decide to do Eternals 2, I don't know if I would bring her back.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's like I said, I respect Chloe Zhao for coming in and trying to shake things up, you know, and I'm happy for her Oscar win, and I'm going to watch Nomadland at some point. I want to see how good it actually is, but it's like I don't know if she was the right choice to, well, at least come up. I don't think she should have wrote the story. I'll be honest, and it's like it's weird because like as we said, Kevin Feige was praising this movie and praising Chloe Zhao. Like he even talked about the pitch that Chloe gave to him.
Well, he's always optimistic.
I mean, I guess you're right.
He was probably optimistic during Thor: The Dark World.
I guess, yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Also, I think the budget for Nomadland was only $5 million.
$5 million, man. Yeah, and this is a $200 million movie.
Yeah.
Like, even I'll admit, like, if I started out with making movies for like chump change, and then going from that to this huge big budget movie where it's like I have so many resources at my fingertips, I wouldn't know where to start.
I honestly, as much as I would love to be on like a Star Wars trilogy to make it for like $200 million, I would honestly just say no because I don't even know what to do with all of it yet. Like I need a plan first.
Exactly.
And Chloe Zhao didn't really have like a plan to be a part of the MCU, I don't think.
I don't think so.
It just felt like she was just sort of like, you know, you won for Nomadland. Hey, you want to direct an MCU film? You know,
right.
like...
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, it's...
She made Eternals look like a low-budget movie with a $200 million film. Because of how just natural it looks.
Yeah, you're right.
Like all of the money really just went into costumes and special effects.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, you know, at first I thought, okay, that's cool. This feels like a big budget indie film. But the script feels like a indie film as well. So,
and hey, you know what? Eternals succeeded at box office. Barely, but they succeeded.
I mean,
box office is 402.1 million.
Okay, I mean,
so that's a little bit over like the cap of what she should be getting.
Right. So, Yeah, the MCU is definitely in trouble if a film bombs, because I don't think that's happened at least like
No,
in years.
I really don't think that. I don't think an MCU film is gonna bomb.
Yeah,
I don't think.
like and no matter how bad the movie is, like people are going to see it because it's the MCU.
Well, then again, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is going to be coming out, and if Evangeline Lilly is going to be in it, that may raise a little bit of trouble.
Oh, come on, guys.
I'm not saying, like, I wouldn't go see it, because I still am, because, like, it's MCU and whatnot, but, like, I know that DC's in trouble if they're keeping Amber Heard. I don't care how long she's in the movie.
I mean,
you don't have my ticket.
I mean, with that, I get why people are boycotting it, but it's like I'm also thinking about the other people making the movie. Like, I want to support James Wan, I want to support Jason Momoa, I want to support Yahya Abdul. So it's like,
and in that case, like, I'll watch it like at home, but I'm not going to the theaters to see Amber Heard. Like, if I see Amber Heard in a movie, I'll watch the movie at home, so that when I do see Amber Heard, I'll just skip through those segments.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay, yes.
That's fine.
All right. Okay, so I think that's pretty much all with the Eternals. The only thing left is the mid and end credit scene. Which both confused the hell out of me, but let's talk about it. So, the first mid-credit scene is actually, before we do that, I guess we have to establish at the end of the movie, since the Eternal stopped the Celestial from coming out of the Earth, Arishem comes out of nowhere and takes like half of the Eternals with him and is like, you stop the Celestial from coming out of the Earth. You will be punished for it. I'm going to search your memories and see why you think that humanity is worth saving. And if it's not good reasons, then I'm going to come back to the Earth for judgment. And then he just disappears with the half of the Eternals. And then the movie ends like that. Oh, and Dane is watching all this happening as well, because he already knows that they're Eternals. Stuff like that. Everyone, all the humans see Arishem coming from the clouds, like emerging from the clouds, and just taking the Eternals. I'm just like, holy shit.
And there's no news report about it.
As far as we see.
Yeah, Eternals 2 will probably change our minds about that.
Yeah. It's like, don't question what happens off screen. But yeah, so that happens. And so the mid credit scene is THENA, MAKKARI, DRUIG.
I think that's it. Because it was KINGO, PHASTOS, and SERSI that was taken.
Right. So
and then who died in the movie? Gilgamesh, AJAK, and IKARIS.
Yep.
And then SPRITE is not an Eternal anymore, so she didn't get captured. So I think the only ones that were left that stayed on the ship were THENA, MAKKARI, and DRUIG.
Yes. So yeah, so they're staying on the ship. They're waiting for the other Eternals to meet, I guess, for something. And it doesn't end up happening because Arishem took them, and they don't know what's going on. And then out of nowhere, there's this portal that comes up in the ship, and this little leprechaun man comes out of the portal with a freaking cup of beer, and I'm not making this up. A leprechaun man comes out of a portal with a mug of beer. And then he does this announcement, saying like, announcing the Prince of Titan, the brother of Thanos, Star Fox, played by Harry Styles. And then he comes in and is like, I know where the Eternals are captured. I know where to find them. And so Star Fox, along with Pip, the leprechaun, is going to help the Eternals find the other Eternals in the galaxy. Harry Styles?
Can we move on?
Hold on. We got to stew in this for a second. Harry Styles? What?
How do you come back from that?
Okay, now I know
I don't care if No Way Home was a good movie and Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, whatever. How do you come back from that?
that's what I was gonna say. Like No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness. I don't know. But okay, so I know from face value, this is horrible. This is a horrible casting. Harry Styles is casted as quote unquote an important character in the MCU now. He's the brother of Thanos. The brother of Thanos is Harry Styles.
A boy band member is the brother of Thanos.
Yes. Now, I know for people that haven't read the comics, they're like, but wait, he's not purple like Thanos. How is he Thanos' brother? In the comics, it's weird because he's a humanoid in the comics, and Thanos is still purple, so that's actually accurate to the comics. So it's weird. But Harry Styles is from what I've seen in the one movie that he's in, Dunkirk, he's a bad actor. He's a bad actor. But do I want to blame it on him or do I want to blame it on Christopher Nolan's direction? Because nobody in Dunkirk was good. So I don't know if I want to judge it instantly. I know with most casting, Marvel gets it right, no matter how weird it is, you know? Except for Captain Marvel, it didn't work. But I'm thinking, because this is exactly what I thought when with the Collector. You know, when the Collector was played by Benicio del Toro, he looked awful. And then when we see the Guardians movies, he's so much better. So I'm thinking there has to be something they saw in Harry Styles to be like, you're going to play this very pivotal character in the MCU going forward, right? They must have seen something in him to be like, we need him. But there's another side that's like, they probably casted him to get the teenage girls in the seat.
When they have enough money as it is.
Yeah. So I'm going to reserve my judgment for when we see him in either Eternals 2 or whatever MCU movie he pops up in. I want to see his performance. Because I'll say right now, the little that they showed in this mid-credit scene, it was fine. It was fine. I wasn't rolling my eyes. He delivered it fine. He delivered his dialogue fine. So if he's at least fine, I'll be okay with it. But it is a big red flag when you're getting Harry Styles to play Star Fox, Thanos' brother, the Prince of Titan, in a Marvel movie.
And it's a boy band member.
Ex-boy band member.
Ex-boyfriend. Whatever.
You know, because they're all going solo now. They're all going solo now, remember?
My fucking bad.
You know, it's not the first time they got singers to be in Marvel movies, so it's like we could be the same thing with that. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't know either.
No, I know how I feel about this. I just don't want to get canceled. That's the difference. I don't want to get canceled.
Right. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Eternals 2, Harry Styles. But the end credit scene is Dane. So before SERSI and half the Eternals got captured, Dane was about to tell her a secret that his family lineage is is something really important with this stuff. Mm-hmm. And but he wasn't able to tell her because she got captured. And so the end credit scene, he's back at the boarding school, I guess, whatever, because SERSI was a teacher.
Because apparently that was established.
You know, they had lived normal lives, remember? But yeah, so he's looking at this chest, and he opens the chest, and there's this ancient sword, and it has a bunch of like weird possession stuff going on with the sword, and he's about to touch it, and then we hear a voice off screen be like, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" And it's Blade's voice, talking to Dane about the sword that he's about to pick up. So apparently in the comics, Dane is this character called the Black Knight, and so I guess his family lineage is like a bunch of warriors as well, I guess, and we'll probably see that too, either in Eternals 2 or a future MCU movie. We'll probably see him throw down with the sword, or he could possibly show up in the Blade movie coming up with Mahershala Ali. So
I'm anticipating the Blade film.
Yeah. So that's cool. I'm interested to see what he does, and I'm really excited to see Mahershala Ali as Blade.
I'm hoping the order is going to be like Blade and then Eternals 2.
I have a feeling it might be that.
Because like by the time we get to Eternals 2, like Dane would come back as Black Knight.
Yeah.
Or something.
So yeah, that is our overall thoughts on Eternals. Overall, it's not this movie's not good. It's not. The script is really bad. The stuff doesn't make sense. The story doesn't make any sense. The character motivations are inconsistent. There's not enough development for the Eternals, and there's 10 characters. They're not like a good amount of them don't get enough time, especially the ones that are the best out of the bunch get the least amount of time. And this movie's 2 hours and 36 minutes. As I said, you had so much time to develop them, and you don't, or you barely do. This movie should have took place in present day because it's just going to add a lot of more questions and more inconsistencies with other stuff going on in the MCU. It should have been a period piece because the period stuff, the flashbacks, were the most interesting part of the movie. The Celestial stuff was all over the place as well, even though I like the scale and I love the mythology and, you know, just how in your face it is with all the cosmic stuff they were doing. That was interesting, but not fleshed out enough. The villain is non-existent. They tried with the Deviants, didn't work.
We didn't even talk about the villain in this podcast, and we don't need to.
No, the Deviants were nothing, and then when they try to give him something, it's still nothing. With the one Deviant absorbing the energy of Gilgamesh, and he turns into a humanoid, and he has feelings and emotions, and he alludes to how the Celestials and the Eternals throughout the centuries are actually doing more harm than good. They don't do enough with that. So it just looks random. So no, the Deviants did not work. Man, I just so much was so all over the place with this. Like, I just don't understand what they were doing. But I did like most of the Eternals. There's a handful that I don't like at all, but there's a good amount that, at least if they didn't get enough of development, they were still likable enough to where I would want to see more. And maybe in a sequel or another MCU crossover, they could be better. The action sequences were really cool for the most part. The cinematography was beautiful. It was very well shot. It was very well directed. Chloe Zao at least got that right. But the story that she came up with, I don't understand how Kevin Feige looked at it or listened to her pitch and was like, you know what? That's good. That's great, man. That's going to change things. We need this. You know, I don't think Chloe Zhao was the right person for the job, even though I appreciate her ambition for the movie. You know, so I don't hate this film, but I don't love this film. I'm in the middle on this. So overall, I will have to say that Eternals is just okay. Just okay.
Yeah.
Ruby.
So overall, just to end my thoughts on Eternals, I don't know, for those of you who have seen like my MCU ranking on my YouTube channel, you guys should probably know where I have Eternals. But for those of you who don't know, even after going through all of these notes and even after saying, yeah, I'm going to watch Eternals after this podcast, I do think that it is still the worst MCU film. I think that there are way too many plot lines happening in one movie in which you could have made two individual Eternals films. To the point where it felt like the flashbacks were the missing first Eternals film, and we were basically just watching Eternals 2. And that's jarring to me because I just don't like watching movies where I'm seeing two or three movies in one. Another good example of that is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Even though they've been received poorly, like over the years, like both of those films, like they still have enough entertainment to them to where they could be rewatchable, but that doesn't change the fact that they still had elements that could have been enough to make a trilogy of movies instead of just a 90 to 100-minute film, including credits. And that's where one of the problems with Eternals lines in, is that there's too much story happening to the point where you could make 2 Eternals films instead of trying to conjoin one together into 2 hours and 37 minutes or 2 hours and 36 minutes, whatever. And when you do that, you're not only overstuffing the bad characters with development that we don't need, you're undermining the good characters. You're undermining the development of the good characters that, some of them die, or it's just getting too close to the final battle and we need to just introduce characters, which is another problem with this movie, which is another separate problem, is that it doesn't make sense to do a get the band back together kind of film when it's the first film introducing 10 characters. Introducing 5 characters in a first Eternals film, that would have been fine in like a period piece, or just make the whole period piece just the first Eternals film, and then get the band back together type of film in Eternals 2 with less characters. Because AJAK just delivers no exhibition. She just doesn't deliver. And IKARIS is just a bad character by design. SPRITE is just a bad character by design. There are so many characters that you could just remove just by design, and it wouldn't really matter all that much. Like, there'd be no change. If anything, it would probably make the movies better. So, as much as I want to say, like, yeah, I've said this to people before, but like, as well as the film is made, like, it's a well-made film, but that doesn't mean that the film itself is good. And again, like, it's nice to see the MCU go in very ambitious directions, but that doesn't make it for a good movie. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have reason to go on these ambitious directions, because it feels like the MCU is going more towards multiverse over cosmic world eternal stuff, from what we know of. Or they're going to do like what they did with Avengers and Guardians, and having Earth realm stuff happening while the cosmic realm stuff is happening on the back burner. Maybe that's what they're doing with Eternals and multiverse. We don't know. But as it turns out right now, it feels like the multiverse is what we're really focused on, what we're really hyper-focused on. So, to just randomly throw in Eternals in between Shang-Chi and Spider-Man No Way Home, it feels jarring to just throw it in there just randomly. Like, hey, there's a new MCU movie, Eternals, go check it out. And it's not that good. It's not even that good just to begin with. So, it's shooting it just the release of the movie, and with all of its bad elements, is just shooting the MCU in the foot even more. So, I wouldn't say that it's god-awful, because I think that's a little too harsh, though I would go in that direction if the cinematography was bad. So I'm going to say that the movie is just trash.
I was expecting that.
It, again, like, cinematography is like the only thing that's really saving this movie. And THENA and MAKKARI and PHASTOS and GILGAMESH, who had less development than any of our other characters. So.
Well, that was our very long rant, preamble, tirade on Eternals that's been building up for a while. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Comment below. Let us know. Is this a new direction, new creative direction for the MCU, or is this a huge blunder for him? Yeah, tell us your thoughts. Well, yeah, I'd like to thank Ruby for joining with me doing this.
No problem. I don't mind ranting about movies that are actually bad. If you ever do another podcast on Rise of Skywalker, I wouldn't mind doing that either.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. We're gonna do something for the sequel trilogy again. but yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified of future videos I'll be doing. Don't forget to tune in to Ruby's channel. You'll get to see the visual version of this review if you guys want to check that out as well. And check out his gaming stuff with he did Kirby and Lego Star Wars walkthroughs. So check out that stuff. The next Marvel stuff we'll be talking about Hawkeye, Spider-Man, and then Multiverse of Madness. So tune in for those when it comes out. But that's all we have for you Marvel fans, and we will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.